Most people try to build a business by jumping straight from idea to action. And that's exactly why they burn out, self sabotage, and never get momentum. There's a sequence to this, and it's a rhythm. And if you skip steps, it doesn't matter how hard you hustle or how talented you are. This is not going to stick. So, today I'm breaking down the 4 stages every sustainable business moves through and why most people are skipping the most important one. So, stage one is thoughts. It's the thing that we do the most of in our life as human beings, and it all starts with identity, beliefs, and mindset. Your internal identity is everything when it comes to being able to set yourself up to be the version of yourself that's going to run a successful business and to actualize your vision. So I work with my clients on what I like to call identity architecture. And that's actually helping you rewire the way that you talk to yourself internally, your internal narrative. Because the way that you speak to yourself is going to make or break if you're going to be able to run a successful business. So it's finding ways that we can look at that voice through meditation and through mindfulness and through somatic balance practices that allow us to see how are you really talking to yourself? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it a mix of both? And those that starts to shape and architect the way that you speak to yourself starts to change. And when you start to change the way that you speak to yourself, you start to change the way that you visualize your life becoming what you've always wanted to be. That internal narrative is super important. And your beliefs, so your self-belief has everything to do with the way that you speak to yourself. Because when you're alone and there's nobody else around to talk to, you start to have thoughts and you start to have ideas and you start to have visions and you start to have narratives that come up in your mind. Self belief is the number one part of a thought that is going to allow you to become the leader of your business, to become the person who steps into your vision and embodies that version of yourself. So, self belief is right up there when it comes to the type of thoughts that you want to be having, positive self belief thoughts. Now, positive affirmations, incredible. Examples of positive affirmations: I am enough. I am a badass. I am worthy of all of the dreams that I have for my life. I am the most grateful version of myself that I have ever been. I am my best self today in this moment, and I am so grateful. I am affirmations, as you can tell just from that, are super powerful. They allow you to really stay present and they're the catalyst for positive self-talk. That internal voice with those I am positive statements, super important and very powerful. Vision boards is another thing where I tell my clients to do a vision board every year. My mentor has us do vision boards every 6 months because that is the way that he thinks it's most beneficial, and I love it. Vision boards will allow you to visualize through pictures, through words, and through the combination of those things in a collage format, cutting things out from magazines and writing words on the vision board and doing things by hand, I think is the best way to do a vision board. And once you have that vision board in place, you want to put it somewhere where you can see it all the time. And the biggest thing about vision boards is you must not only see it and desire for it, but this is where we go beyond vision boards and I am affirmations. Your body, the way you feel about your vision, your business that you want to run, you need to feel it through emotion. You need to have emotions that's attached to those images, to those I am affirmations. How does that I am affirmation make you feel? How does that image of your dream home or your dream car or your dream relationship with your dream partner, how does that make you feel? Not only using the senses that are most used, which is our eyes, but feeling the emotion around those items, the I am affirmations and the vision board items. What do you feel? What does it feel like when you achieve these things? And start to embody those emotions already, so that it feels like you have achieved the things that you want to achieve because you have emotions attached to them. And when you have emotions attached to your vision on your vision board, it starts to create a version of that in real time. And that's how you tap into this field of future belief, future visions, and future uh, ways of life that you want to live. It's by embodying it and then attaching emotions to it so that you attach the present to some sort of future vision for your life. We need to look at what shifts need to happen because with our thoughts we need to look at ways that we can mind shift that allow us to set ourselves up ultimately for success. Because without skipping this step, look at this and realize that we have the power to shift the way that we think about our vision, about the business that we want to run, and about our life as a whole. So we need to start to look at ways that we can shift habitual thoughts that we have continuously. Sometimes thoughts are in a thought loop and we'll have a negative thought that will come to us and we'll maybe be able to let it go, but it comes back because it's a loop. So that thought's going to come back at some point. But we have to shift the way that we not only perceive the thought, but we have to shift the way that we react to the thought as well. And something that I learned from the Buddhist monks when I lived with them during a silent retreat in Thailand was that there's this concept of being the observer of your thoughts. And this is a mind shift within itself. So it goes a little something like this. You see a thought come to you, and instead of attaching yourself to the thought and feeling like it's, such a big part of yourself in the moment, you can shift yourself from saying, I am that thought to I am observing that thought. And when you become the observer of the thought, you start to not only be able to funnel thoughts between something that you can give more energy and attention to, a positive thought that reaffirms your vision, or you can let other thoughts and go by you and say, I'm observing that thought. I know that that thought is somewhat of importance, or maybe not, because sometimes thoughts are just not important at all. They're just flowing, flowing, and flowing. You could say, I'm going to observe this thought. So I'm going to shift myself from being attached to it to a place where I can become more of the observer of the negative thoughts. And the positive thoughts, the I am affirmations, the thoughts about your vision board, the thoughts about the life that you envision for yourself, and the thoughts about your loved ones um, having continual happiness and you having happiness in your life, all of those positive thoughts, still you observe them, but you can now say, okay, I want to put more energy and focus into those thoughts. That is phase one of identity architecture. It's all about shifting your thoughts, becoming more familiar with your thoughts, and being okay with your relationship with that internal voice. Because at the end of the day, the way you feel about yourself is going to be a direct reflection of the way you feel about your business and the vision that you're going for. Stage two is the body, the anchor. This is where we're going to really go the deepest. Now, a lot of times we think that the mind is the place where we'll be able to go the deepest through meditation and through other practices where we can really get in touch with our minds and really still the thoughts or bring power to more positive thoughts. The body, this is a spot where a lot of entrepreneurs, visionaries will skip because they skip ahead and they wonder why nothing works. The reason why nothing is working if they skip this step is because your body holds a lot more energy and carries a lot more weight about you achieving your success than a lot of people realize. Ways that you can get more in touch with what's actually happening with your body is through somatics. Somatics is something that we focus on a lot in one of my main courses with my clients because of the reason of how I've seen it's been so important for a lot of high performing entrepreneurs and for myself as well in my life. Before we dive into somatics more in depth, I want to talk about the fact that We all know that there's a mind body connection, mind body soul connection, but your body truly has to believe what your mind is learning. So your thoughts and the things that you take in on a daily basis are not only just for your mind, but your body needs to respond in a way that's productive because your mind is really sending this information that it learns down into your body, into your somatic system. So your somatics is really the balance of regulating what you're learning and why you're learning it and processing it not only up here, but also within your body. And your body starts to believe through these practices that allow you to already feel like you've achieved the things you want to achieve. The body then believes it. And when the body believes it, it allows your mind and your body to start to work in more unison, what we like to call somatic balance, nervous system regulation, and an embodiment of the best self version of you who's running this successful business and that has self actualized your vision. Through embodiment, we can find a way to regulate our nervous system so that we feel calm and at peace when we're starting the business. Instead of starting a business, fucking hustling and forgetting about your inner health, skipping this step would basically put you at a point where now you're unhealthy. You're trying to run a business, you're running on fumes because you don't have any nervous system regulation and you're close to burnout all the time. You're basically flirting with burnout constantly as that type of business founder and owner. So embodying the version of you first and becoming the version of you first that is the successful business owner is going to set you up for success. It's going to put you in a place where you're going to be able to achieve more faster because you're going to be performing at a higher level, well being balanced within, well knowing that you feel good while you're doing it versus always being on the verge of burnout and always being on the verge of feeling like questioning why you ever started the business in the first place. Entrepreneurs start businesses so that they can have more time to spend with their loved ones, more freedom, and because they want to be able to be someone who can lead their business. There's a certain type of person that's a visionary and an entrepreneur. Those visionaries and entrepreneurs, if you can just get yourself to be somatically balanced and have your body understand all the things that you want to do up here, all the dreams, all the visions, all the ideas, all the creativity that's up here, if you can get your body to process that and understand it before you embark on this journey of starting this new business, that is going to be a step that you will be so grateful for that you took versus skipping. And here's the thing, you're not going to be able to perform in this business at a highly sustainable level for the long term if you're constantly operating in a place of survival mode. Survival mode is easier. It's a more natural state for a lot of us to be in because we tend to drop into survival mode versus flow state mode or creativity mode or someone who's more present and more balanced. But if you're trying to run a business where you're basically just trying to make it or break it all the time and you're operating in a place of survival mode, your nervous system is going to be all jacked up. And it's going to not only affect the success of your business, but it's going to affect your relationships with your employees or the people you look to work with in your business. It's going to affect your life outside of your business because operating in a place of survival mode is operating in a place of stress response constantly. And when you operate in a place of stress response constantly, that is pulling you away from being authentic and making good decisions and being able to perform at the level that you need to perform at to turn this vision into a successful business. Let's look at a real world example. So, how your body shows up on sales calls. If you do some sort of sales calls for your services while you're running this business to monetize your passions and to monetize your creativity, How you show up on a sales call in your body is just as important as how you show up on a sales call in your mind. So doing the work before you get on the sales call is going to allow you to have the best chance of continued success on your sales calls. So getting in touch with your body and allowing yourself to make sure that you feel good, having a pre-sales call ritual is, I think, a massive, massive uptick and a way that you can basically set yourself up to consistently work with your ideal perfect clients is to have a pre-sales call ritual where you work on somatic balance, you work on nervous system regulation, and you do things that allow yourself to get it going to that call feeling good, feeling present, and feeling like you're at a space where you are truly your best self who is at service and ready to help other people with the offer that you have. Another real world example would be when you're creating content. Sometimes you'll maybe see people that create content and you can tell something's a little bit off. There's a good chance that they haven't done any of this internal body slash mind work, or they may have done it in the past, but they've kind of fallen off a little bit on it lately. And you can tell that they are at a space where their content just feels a little bit off. It may feel rushed, maybe a little bit of stress involved in the content, and just doesn't seem to feel right. That's because they're probably operating in a place of survival mode and they're just fucking running on fumes constantly versus regulating themselves and being more in tune with the moment, their mind, their body, their somatic connection. Another real world example would be in just client sessions. Once you book a client and you're getting on a call with the client, you're having a session with the client, some sort of check in, and imagine how that client would feel if you go into those calls consistently balanced, at ease, able to give your best self to that client on each client session versus going into client calls feeling uneasy or feeling stressed about something that's going on outside of it and not having a system in place that helps you regulate that. Having a system in place that helps you regulate that, it's going to help you with things like client sessions. It's going to help you when you're creating content. It's going to help you when you're on sales calls. That is stage two, the body awareness through somatic regulation. Stage three is your vision. So once your mind is shifted and you've gotten to a place where you feel good and you have a sense of mindfulness, just a sense of understanding the way that your mind and your internal voice works, and now your body feels safe, clarity for your vision becomes so much more of a natural process and a flow filled process versus there feeling like there is constant blocks in the way of your vision. This is the step where strategy, planning, and road mapping happens. This is where you get to officially get more creative with your vision mapping. This is where you get to look at your vision and figure out what are the steps that need to be taken. What are the micro steps that can lead to bigger wins while you're on your vision path, while you're going for that next level of yourself, while you're starting the business that's going to take you to that next level. So vision without a level of embodiment, vision without a level of awareness, and vision without a feeling of level-headedness is going to start to feel empty. It's going to feel like you're out in some sort of open desert and you're looking for a mirage and you may see a mirage, but then it disappears as you get closer and closer. And you may be wondering why the vision is fleeting, why the vision feels like it's hazy. The reason being, if you get to stage three and you skip stage one and two, there's a chance, a very good chance, that your vision is going to be more cloudy. So in stage three, after doing stage one and two successfully, your vision becomes light. It becomes digestible. It becomes something that you can look at and you can set up a really, really sound vision map plan, a plan that allows you to basically say, I know exactly what I'm doing this week. I know exactly what I'm doing today. that's going to help me achieve my vision in the long run. Mapping this out allows you to break things down more granular so that you can take the right steps at the right time, and you can continue to regulate your somatic balance and continue to regulate your mindset while you are on your vision path. This doesn't look like hardcore hustle. This doesn't look like 10 cups of coffee and 2 hours of sleep. This looks more like regulated achievement through balance. And this allows you to step into a space to become the best version of yourself through this balance and to start to go for your vision with confidence. And with that clarity comes momentum, magnetic momentum. When you have this momentum, you become more magnetic in how you talk about your vision and how you step into the leadership role for your business. And when you become more magnetic, your ideal perfect client starts to notice and will start to show up more in your process because of the fact that you know exactly who you are, you know exactly what your vision is, you know how to balance your body, you know how to have more mindfulness and a better mindset. And that right there creates a formula for you to be the most successful version of yourself as a leader of your business and as someone who seems so clear on their vision. People notice when you're clear on your purpose, when you're clear on your vision. There's some sort of glimmer in your eye when you get to that place where you know what you want and you know why you want it and you know that you're doing it from a place of authenticity and you're doing it from a place of service and you're doing it from a place that is going to help the world as a whole and is going to allow you to achieve a lifestyle and a way of being that you've always wanted. That is stage 3. That is your vision and your vision mapping. So now and only now do we get to stage 4, which is action. Now, in stage 4, the ability for you to execute, the ability for you to perform at a high level feels so much more natural now. None of this is going to feel forced. It's this sustainable action versus this burnout hustle that we talked about before. And with this sustainable action, you basically know now how to attack the right way and how not to burn out and not to feel like you're hustling constantly. At this point in action, you're feeling like you get to work on the business and not be in a space where you're constantly working in the business. Aligned action looks like a founder who it's not their first time around. It's not their first time around starting a business. Aligned action, you can see it. Every decision is calculated and the moves that are made at the exact right time. Nothing feels like it's forced. Nothing feels like it's abrupt. Aligned action looks like somebody who has reached the best version of themselves and they show up day in and day out as that version to lead their business and to actualize their vision through aligned action. This is the compounding effect of action. When someone continues to move with aligned action and makes great decisions for their business and in their life, this will compound over time. Each day that you continue to make better and better decisions that are compounding with each and every move, all you're doing is really setting yourself up to run a 6, 7 figure business and beyond because you're actualizing your vision. You're telling the universe, your higher power, your deity, whatever you want to call it. You're putting the energy out there that you are ready to take action and you're consistently going to take action. And in that moment, you will see that all these stages stacked on top of each other. This is why you cannot skip stages when it comes to becoming a successful visionary who runs a successful business and is a founder who lasts in this business for the long haul. One that doesn't burn out, one that continues to make great compounded decisions and continues to take action. One who doesn't think and overthink because of fear. One who thinks less and one who makes moves more often than not and is willing to fail, but is also willing to fail fast, to learn quickly, and to live leanly. If you've been grinding but not gaining traction, I promise you, it is not about working harder. It's about moving through these stages in order. So you're going to start with your thoughts, you're going to drop it into your body, and you're going to let the vision crystallize, and then you make moves. That's how you build something that lasts. Drop a comment and let me know which stage you're in right now. And also, please don't forget to subscribe, comment on this post, and check the description for more resources around the 4 stages of running a successful business as a high performing visionary.